Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wiwi Talk Pod, where learning English is easy and fun. I'm Justin.
Hello, Justin. Hello, everyone. It is wonderful to be here today.
Before we talk about today's topic, we have a small request.
Yes, we do. If you are listening and you like our podcast, please click the like button, a big thumbs up.
Yes, please do. And if you are new, welcome. Please subscribe to Wiwi Talk Pod.
It helps us so much. And please share this podcast with a friend who is learning English.
Today, we have a very special and very practical topic for our beginners. We are going to talk about how to talk about yourself in English. For many people, this is the most important skill to master first. Whether you're at a party, a job interview, or just meeting a new neighbor, people want to know who you are.
That is so true, Justin. It is often the very first thing we do in a conversation. But I know it can be scary for students. When someone says, "Tell me about yourself," many people freeze. They think, where do I start? What should I say?
Exactly. So today, we are going to break it down into very simple pieces. We will look at your name, where you are from, your job, your hobbies, and even your family. By the end of this episode, our listeners will have a full script they can use to feel confident.
Let's start with the basics, the hello. Of course, everyone knows my name is, but there are different ways to say it depending on how formal you want to be.
Right. If I'm at a business meeting, I might say, "Hello, my name is Justin Miller." Using the full name sounds professional. But if I'm at a coffee shop or a party, I just say, "Hi, I'm Justin." It's shorter and friendlier.
And then comes the question of origin. Where are you from? This is a classic question. You can say, "I am from New York," or "I come from Brazil." Both are correct.
One thing I see beginners do is get confused between the country and the nationality. They might say, "I am Japan," instead of "I am Japanese" or "I am from Japan."
That's a great point. A simple rule is use from with the country name. I am from Mexico. I am from France. If you don't use from, use the nationality adjective. I am Mexican. I am French.
Once the names and origins are out of the way, the next question is usually, "What do you do?" or "What is your job?"
This is where people get to share a bit about their daily life. For beginners, the simplest structure is I am a or I am an, followed by your job title.
Right. For example, "I am a teacher," or "I am an engineer." Remember that "an" goes before words that start with vowel sounds like A, E, I, O, and U.
What if someone doesn't have a traditional job right now? Maybe they are a student, or they're staying at home to take care of the family.
You can simply say, "I am a student at the university," or "I am a stay-at-home mom," or even, "I am currently looking for a job." It's all about being honest and clear.
Justin, I often hear students get confused when they live in a place that is different from where they were born. How do we explain that naturally?
That is a very common situation today. You can say, "I am originally from Italy, but I live in London now."
I love that word, originally. It makes the sentence sound very natural. I'm originally from Spain, but I've been living in Chicago for 3 years. It gives a little bit of history without being too complicated for the listener.
And you can add how you feel about it. "I live in Chicago, and I love the food there." This invites the other person to talk about food, too.
Now we get to the fun part, talking about what you like to do. This is how you really make friends.
Yes, people connect over hobbies. The easiest way to start is "I like" or "I love."
For example, I like playing soccer, or I love cooking Italian food. Notice that after like or love, we usually add ing to the verb.
Exactly. "I like to swim" is okay, but "I like swimming" sounds very common in American English. Amelia, what do you like to do in your free time?
In my free time, I enjoy hiking and taking photos of nature. It's very relaxing and it gets me out of the house. How about you, Justin?
I'm a big fan of movies. I go to the cinema almost every weekend. I also like playing the guitar, though I'm still a beginner and not very good yet.
See? Now I know more about you. We could talk about movies for an hour now. That is the power of sharing hobbies during an introduction.
Sometimes, especially in social settings, people ask about your family. You don't need to give a whole family tree, just the basics to show who you are.
Right. You can say, I have a small family, or I come from a large family.
Then you can mention siblings. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. Or if you have no siblings, you say, I am an only child.
If you are married, you can say, I am married and I have 2 children. It's simple, direct, and answers the common questions perfectly.
Okay, Amelia, let's try to put all these pieces together. I'll act like a person you just met at a community event. I'll ask you a question, and you give me a full introduction.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Hi there. I don't think we've met. I'm Justin. What's your name?
Hi, Justin. It's nice to meet you. My name's Amelia. I'm originally from Canada, but I moved here last year for my job. I work as a graphic designer. In my free time, I really love hiking and exploring new parks. I also have a little dog named Buster who comes with me everywhere.
That was perfect. It wasn't too long, but I learned your name, your home country, your job, your hobby, and even a little detail about your dog. It felt very natural.
Thanks. The key is to keep the sentences short. When you are a beginner, you don't need to use big, difficult words. Simple words used correctly are much better for communication.
Let's talk about some common mistakes to avoid. One big one is the "how are you" trap.
Oh yes, in English, when someone says, "How are you?" during an introduction, they don't usually want a long list of your problems.
Right. Even if you were tired or your car broke down, the standard polite answer is, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Another mistake is using I have years when talking about age. In many languages, you say, I have 25 years, but in English, we use the verb to be.
Exactly. It is I am 25 years old, or just I am 25. Never say I have 25.
Also, watch out for the word work. People often say, I work of teacher, but it should be, I work as a teacher or I am a teacher.
If you want to go a step further, you can use 1 or 2 adjectives to describe your personality.
That's a great idea. It adds personality to your introduction. You could say, I am a very creative person, or I'm a bit shy, but I love meeting new people.
I like to use the word outgoing. I can say, I'm an outgoing person, so I love hosting this podcast and talking to all of you.
And I could say, I am a very organized person, which is true because I always have my notes ready for our episodes.
So, you've introduced yourself. You've talked about your job and your hobbies. How do you end the conversation politely?
You can't just walk away. You need a closing phrase. The most common one is, it was nice meeting you.
Or, it was a pleasure talking to you. If you want to see them again, you can say, I hope to see you around.
And if they said it first, you just say, you too, or likewise.
Amelia, what is your best advice for someone listening who wants to practice this right now?
Write it down. Get a piece of paper and write 5 simple sentences about yourself. My name is, I am from, I work as a, I like, and I am a personality adjective.
Then read it out loud in front of a mirror. It might feel silly, but it helps your mouth get used to the sounds of English words.
And don't worry about your accent. Everyone has an accent. The most important thing is that you are clear and confident.
Confidence is key. Even if you make a small grammar mistake, if you smile and keep talking, most people won't even notice.
Amelia, let's briefly mention a more formal setting. How do we talk about ourselves in a job interview?
It's similar, but you focus more on your skills. Instead of saying, I like soccer, you might say, I enjoy working in a team environment.
That's a smart switch. Instead of saying, I am a nice person, you say, I am a hardworking and dedicated person.
And you can mention your experience. I've worked in sales for 5 years. This tells the employer exactly what they need to know for the job.
Talking about yourself is only half of the conversation. You also need to ask questions to the other person.
Right. A conversation is like a game of catch. You throw the ball, and then the other person throws it back to you.
Some easy questions for beginners are, what about you? Do you live near here? Or what do you do for fun?
What about you is the perfect magic phrase. If someone asks you a question and you answer it, you can just say, what about you, to keep the conversation going.
I know a lot of our listeners are afraid of making mistakes. They feel that if they say, I am from France, but forget the from, people won't understand.
But they will. Native speakers forget words all the time. If you forget a word, just use a different one or use your hands to gesture.
That is such good advice. Communication is about understanding, not perfection.
We want all of our Wiwi Talk Pod listeners to feel empowered. You have a story to tell, and your story is interesting regardless of your English level.
Before we finish, let's review some of the best phrases we learned today for our listeners to remember.
Great idea. I'll say the category and you give the phrase. Category, name.
I'm Amelia, or my name is Amelia.
Category, home.
I'm from Canada, or I live in this city.
Category, work.
I work as a designer, or I am a student.
Category, hobbies.
I enjoy hiking, or I'm a big fan of movies.
Category, closing.
It was great meeting you.
Well, Amelia, I think we have given our listeners a lot of great tools today. Talking about yourself doesn't have to be a nightmare. It's just a series of small, simple steps.
I agree, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. So, to everyone listening, go out and try to introduce yourself to someone new today.
That's a great challenge. Even if it's just saying, "Hi, I'm Justin," to a person at the grocery store. Every little bit of practice counts toward your goal.
It really does. Thank you for having me today, Justin. I always love talking about these practical topics with you.
It's always a pleasure, Amelia. And thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. We really appreciate your support and your dedication to learning English with us.
Don't forget to practice those 5 sentences we talked about earlier.
Yes, and keep practicing every day. We will see you in the next episode of Wiwi Talk Pod.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.